Sandy says read, and welcome to the channel. You guys, this evening we are going to do a booktube tag. This is a two-part booktube tag. The first half, I think, began over on Twitter, on X. The second half is fully YouTube, but we're gonna do it all right here on YouTube. I saw this over on Jo Linsdell's channel. She tagged me over there, but it was created by Curious Reads. Okay, this is the All Hallows book tag. Just in time for Halloween. All right, the first half of this begins with the this or that questions. Quick fire, this or that, 10 questions. All right, ready? Here we go with number 1, pumpkin spice or hot chocolate. And I'm going to go with hot chocolate because I dig the pumpkin spice, but not in my drink. No, hot chocolate. Number 2, vampires or werewolves. And you guys, I swear I have answered this question before and probably on this channel. I prefer vampires. Did I say that? I prefer vampires. I need to enunciate clearly for you all. I think werewolves are probably stinky. I can't imagine that they would smell real good. You know. Number 3, horror anthology or spooky standalone. I have read a bunch of horror anthology bits and pieces as of late. So I think I'm ready for a spooky standalone. In fact, I just read a spooky standalone and we'll talk about that further down. Okay. Number 4, haunted house or enchanted forest. Okay, story time. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to do a story time in the middle of a quick fire, this or that, but we're gonna, all right? We do what we want here at this channel. Back in college, the guy that I was dating and I went to a haunted house around Halloween time, as you do, right? And we were, I don't know how far into this haunted house we were when this kid, bless his heart, he was probably only like 10 or 11, all right, younger kid. He got freaked out. He was scared, okay? And he like globbed onto me. I had this kid hanging on my arm to go through this haunted house. This poor child, he was alone. I don't know where his parents were. I don't remember if we met up with his parents at the end of this thing or not, but I basically was dragging this poor child through this haunted house. Yeah, he needed a support adult. And I don't know why he thought I was an adult, but yes. Okay, so haunted house or enchanted forest. I'm going to go with enchanted forest because an enchanted forest is just cool, right? I mean, you can write so much cool stuff about an enchanted forest. I have an enchanted forest in the Choices series. The Rochester Forest, it is, I don't know if it's enchanted, it's haunted. It's like a combination. Moving on, number 5. Okay, sinister villain or morally gray hero. If I'm writing, you enunciate this one right. If I am writing the thing, it's the morally gray hero for me. Which again, I have in my stuff. Number 6, historical horror or futuristic utopia. Yeah. I would go with historical horror on that one. I don't think a futuristic utopia is believable at this point. We're going to go with historical horror. Number 7, eerily narrated audio or creepy art visual. I might go with creepy art visual. Yeah, I've got some creepy art that I have purchased. Number 8, dark academia or paranormal. Paranormal. Yeah, give me a good ghost story. Yeah, I prefer paranormal to dark academia. Number 9, daytime or nighttime reader. I don't know why, you guys. I just thought of those herons that, I don't know if any of you watch those little Discovery Channel things where you have the herons that put the wings over the water and they go nighttime. And when they take the wings away, the announcer says daytime and it goes nighttime and daytime. I'm not on drugs. I'm just having fun with this tag, apparently. Okay, daytime or nighttime reader. Currently, I am a nighttime reader because I work during the day. So I don't get my reading in until the evenings. I do my writing and reading in the evenings. So I'm a nighttime reader. I would prefer to be a daytime reader because I can see better in the day. I've got a cataract in my left eye, right? It's very small. I have a cataract in my left eye, so being able to see is important. All right, here's your quote of the day. Number 10, the last one in this part of the two-parter tag, dark book nook or cozy reading corner. Well, cozy reading corner, because I can't see in a dark book nook. So, all right, now the second half of our All Hallows book tag is coming up. But first, you guys, I've got to encourage you to give this video a thumbs up. You know, if you're enjoying the chaos and mayhem and confusion that's going on so far, thumbs up for chaos and confusion and mayhem. And please subscribe to the channel. I mean, you're here, subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so that you're notified each time we do this confusion and chaos and mayhem. Moving on to the second half of our tag. Number 1, what are your favorite spooky season genres? And I'm going to say probably paranormal. I mean, I know I like some levels of horror. I write some levels of horror, right? But I think that paranormal is probably my favorite spooky season genre because good ghost stories are great. And, you know, the vampires fall into that paranormal thing. And I love me a good vampire story. So yeah, paranormal. Number 2, which titles do you recommend for Halloween reading? And this one I came prepared for, you guys. Dracul by Bram Stoker and J.D. Barker. Dracul is a good one. There's a glare, right? Okay, there you go. Dracul is a good one. It's not too graphically gross, right? There's enough grossness to make it definitely a vampire horror story. Okay, there's enough icky things in there, but it's not too gross. The one I'm going to recommend as another Halloween read that is gross and gruesome is, what is it? Voice of the Blood. I have a few Jemiah Jefferson books. Let me sure I got the right one here. Voice of the Blood. There you go. No glare. Jemiah Jefferson is a Duranie. She's a Duran fan. Yeah. I'm going to read the back cover for you. The undead walk among us. The ordinary life of a grad student was so boring for Arian. She was desperate for some change, some excitement to shake things up. She had no idea she was only one step away from a whole new world, a world of darkness and decay, of eternal life and eternal death. But once she fell prey to Ricari, she would learn more about this world than she ever dreamed possible, more than anyone should dare to know if they value their soul. For Ricari's is the world of the undead, the vampire, a world far beyond the myths and legends that the living think they know, a world even more horrifying than the living could suspect. From the clubs of San Francisco to a deserted Hollywood hotel known as Rotting Hall, the denizens of this land of darkness hold sway over the night. But as seductive and erotic as these predators may be, Arian will soon discover that a little knowledge can be a very dangerous thing indeed. This book has, hang on, let me make sure, I believe. I think this is the one that has John Taylor in it. The gentleman's name is John. The vampire's name is John. Yeah, there we go. My lover, John, returns to me for the night. There you go. Okay, it even said, here we go. My lover, the unfortunately feral and tragically beautiful John. John Taylor, the bass player for Duran Duran, is, yeah, he is vampiric in all the fabulous ways, right? In my opinion, it's just my opinion. But Jemiah Jefferson, being a Duran fan, I was drawn to see how she handled her vampires. Gross, so gross and bloody, and yeah, fabulous. If you like your vampires gross and bloody, there you go. Okay, what else? What other titles? Oh yeah. Okay, this is the part of the video that is self-serving. I also recommend for your Halloween titles, Silver Bells by Sandy Lender and Return to the Tribe and Fire by Sandy Lender. This one is a zombie horror novel, and it's very short. It's a novella. All right, enough of that. Number 3, what are your most anticipated reads this month? Okay, my most anticipated read for this season, for this month, was Desolation of Dreams by Miguel Garcia. I didn't bring that one over here because I was only partially prepared for the video. But I did, let's see, I read that one and reviewed that one, and that review is here on the channel already. I'll put a link to that in the drop-down box below for you guys. All right. Number 4, have you had a paranormal experience or spooky coincidence? Yes, I've had a few. I'm going to tell you about 2 of them. And I'll start with the scary, icky one first, and then we'll end with the lovely, lovely one second. Okay, first, I was living in Naples, Florida, way down south of here, in like 2005-ish. I think this was in 2005. You know, I'm terrible with dates, right? Okay, so mid-2000s. I was driving home from the university that shall not be named, and I was on, I think, Collier Parkway, Collier Highway, I think 281. I think I was on that roadway, but it was in front of the public store on that road, when all of a sudden the car just was enveloped in this stink of sulfur. I mean, it came on like that, right? And y'all know that sulfur scent, you know, will envelop you when there is like a demon or a foul presence nearby, right? Okay. And it just infiltrated the cab of the car instantly. And whoa, what is happening? And I felt the feet of a creature pounding up the back of my driver's seat, and its claws come around my neck and start to squeeze my throat. And I thought, oh crap. And so I called out to Jesus. I called on Jesus' name and just out loud, Jesus, help me in this moment. And the creature released me, and the stench of sulfur dissipated just like that. It gone. And I prayed thanks, and I drove on home, and I was shaking all the way home. But that was the spooky, scary, awful moment. It was terrifying. Yeah, that was the spooky experience that I've had. Then the lovely experience that I had was when I was a teenager. I was sleeping. I had a dream. I dreamt that I was at my grandmother's house at the kitchen table in her big old kitchen. And there was a gentleman there, a guy wearing a flannel shirt, and he brought a pumpkin pie to the table, and he cut up the pumpkin pie and served me a piece and him a piece on plates. And he sat down, and we just were talking at the table. And it was very, very pleasant and just a warm atmosphere, pleasant experience, right? And at one point he told me his name was John, and he said, haven't they told you about me? I'm like, no, what do you mean? And we just had a nice, pleasant conversation. Okay. He didn't tell me who he was, just that his name was John. And, you know, that was the dream, basically. That's what I could remember of the dream. Well, you know, a little bit later when we traveled and went to Grandma's house, I was mentioning this dream. I was like, oh, you know, I had this dream that I was at the table with this guy named John. We were having pumpkin pie, and Grandma freaked out. She flipped right out, and she went and got some pictures and brought them back. And she goes, did he look like this? And she showed me these pictures, and yeah, the guy looked like the guy in the pictures. Well, the guy in the pictures was my Uncle John, who had died a few years before I was born. So either I had at some point, up to that point, seen pictures of Uncle John and just not realized that when I had the dream, or my Uncle John visited me in my dream, and we had pumpkin pie together and just a nice conversation. I choose to believe that I was visited by my Uncle John, and it's just a lovely experience. And I want to believe that because it was lovely and very kind, very nice. Okay, number 5. What are your spooky season film and TV favorites? You know, I just did the Sacco and the Moon podcast, and I'll put a link to that below so you guys can see that interview that we did. And on that podcast, Dwan asked me what my favorite like spooky or horror movie was. I'll spit it out here, you guys. Blah, blah, blah. He asked me what my favorite horror movie was, and it's Poltergeist. I watched that when I was much younger. I read the book first and then I watched the movie, and yeah, that is a scary movie to me. I love that one. I also love, the Aliens movies, especially Alien 1 and then Aliens. You guys can hear my neighbors drag racing up and down the streets. Okay. Alien and Aliens, those two especially, those two. I love those. I know they're not really horror movies so much as they're like sci-fi horror maybe, but yeah, I like those. So I like to watch those, well, all year long. Any time of the year is good for those. For TV favorites, I guess my spooky TV favorites, probably Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I really like that. I like Dexter, the original Dexter, but yeah, spooky TV favorites, Buffy. I know it's no longer cool to like Buffy because of Joss Whedon being naughty, but I don't care. I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I like the show. I like the characters. I like the plots. I like the stuff they get into. I like it. Number 6. This is the last one on the list, you guys. How do you celebrate Halloween? And I don't really celebrate Halloween anymore. I mean, back when I lived in Kansas City, my friends and I would get together for Halloween and celebrate Simon Le Bon's birthday. Simon Le Bon, his birthday is October 27th. You guys, for as much trouble as I have with like numbers and dates, I can remember the dates of the Duran Duran members' birthdays. Anyway, we would get together and we would have parties basically for Simon, but we would mesh Halloween into it. Is that a word? Mish? We would mish? We would mash Halloween into it. And so we would like dress up however we wanted to and have Simon Le Bon's birthday party and a Halloween party kind of all together. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. We'd have birthday cake. That would be it. Like we would clean up my garage and turn it into a discotheque. And my friend Janine, she would DJ. I mean, it would be great. It would be fun. That's how we used to celebrate Halloween. Now here at this place, the kids don't come around anymore, right? I know that they're off doing like trunk or treat and there's different community center things that can happen so that the kids have a safe environment to get candy, right? So I just don't see trick or treaters around anymore. So I can celebrate Halloween by watching Aliens and eating candy. Yay! All right. Okay, you guys. So any of these questions that you all would like to answer, I would love to see your answers in the comments below. I mean, tell me your favorite spooky season film or favorite spooky season book that you like to read. I mean, is there a book that you like to read during this time of year? I mean, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, you guys. Oh, yeah, that TV series. The Sleepy Hollow series? Was that Ichabod Crane not the hottest thing walking? Yeah. Okay. That's all that we have here for the All Hallows book tag. I encourage you all to give this a thumbs up because it was great, in my opinion. You guys, thanks so much for tuning in.